might seem crazy what I'm about to say.
Major research presentation project, I did interactive video conferencing, also known as Skype. Skype is a freemium voice over IP service and instant messaging client, currently developed by Microsoft Skype division. It was first released August 2003. It was created by Janice Frias from Denmark and Nicholas Zindstorm from Sweden. Skype had 663 million registered users as of the end of 2010 and is still growing. This service allows users to communicate with peers by voice using a microphone, video by using a webcam, and instant messaging over the internet. You can also make phone calls. Interactive video conferencing, or Skype, is a program that was created by the Minnesota Historical Society to provide interactive educational experiences for a 4th or 6th grade class. This is the first time that this occurred in an educational setting. There were 3 different programs that were originated. These programs are now being expanded, and reservations can be booked in classrooms across Minnesota as well as all over the United States and the world. Skype offers unique opportunities for teachers to get their students learning in exciting new ways. This picture is an example of students using Skype in a classroom, in a virtual classroom. There are many advantages of Skype. Interactive video is attractive to administrators for several reasons. It provides access to education for those who live in remote locations or maybe can't travel to the school at the time. It also provides access to at-risk or special needs students that are unable to attend. It also enables large numbers of students to be taught simultaneously by one instructor. Outside speakers can be involved that normally wouldn't be able to be involved, and students can become linked with others from different communities, backgrounds, and cultures.
At our school, at Charter Learning Center, we really promote science being inquiry, and inquiry not existing in an isolated vacuum, however existing within a community and forming a dialogue between other scientists. Video conferencing with an organization like Video has an opportunity to really break down barriers of education and really change the future of education in a way that was never thought possible 10 or 20 years ago. During our interactive virtual field trip, in the beginning the kids were just so enamored by the fact that they had a guest educator who was actually on camera. That was a brand new experience for them. They were so engaged, so full of life because of that. Eventually, the learners and myself formed a relationship with Mark as another educator off-site, knowing that he was a science educator teaching us a lesson in Denver. But at a point, I think the monitor kind of disappeared, and it was almost as if he was in our classroom as one of us.
The red blood cells will transport oxygen from our lungs, from the respiratory system, through our body, delivers it to our muscles.
The kids really engaged with the multi-dimensional aspects of the lesson. I thought they really related to Mark, and I thought they were really excited about just having a brand new, fresh approach to learning that they've never experienced before. All around, they engaged with the technology, the iPad, seeing a heart being dissected in front of their eyes, also seeing a heart on an iPad right in front of them was really multidimensional and accessible and interactive for the students in a completely new way that they've never experienced school before.
What I really liked about today's virtual field trip is probably the heart dissection. Overall, it actually taught me a lot about how the heart works, because I've actually never seen anything like that before.
Usually we have to imagine what it looks like, but today we actually got to see the real thing.
Most of the stuff I learned I never knew. I learned about the different blood cells, the veins and arteries.
I like the virtual field trip better than a regular field trip because I could focus better.
With video conferencing, with video, we would have access to creating dialogues with other communities, with other school communities, working on social justice issues with renewable resources, talking about energy, and talking about ecology, and really the sky's the limit.
Different ways to collaborate with Skype in a K-12 setting. Meet with other classrooms. This is one of the most common projects educators utilize for Skype. Practice a foreign language is another example. Have your class practice a foreign language and learn the grammar and pronunciation skills through conversation. Around the world in 80 schools, this is a pretty neat challenge. You find 80 schools to participate worldwide and just learn about different cultures and languages. Talk about the weather. This would be a good project for maybe a science class. Collaborative poetry. I know we had a poetry out loud at my high school. This is kind of a good way to do it in a virtual classroom setting. Practice interviews. A lot of students have problems with mock interviews, moving on to the next level, going to college, or needing an interview later on. This is a good way to practice mock interviews. Some more examples of ways to collaborate with Skype. Gaming, hold a contest, challenge other classrooms and hold a competition, hold a debate, and have each virtual classroom set up in different locations. You can practice music together. You can collaborate with your neighbors or outside peers. Highlight time differences. Look into the difference between the time zones. Combine with argumentative reality. Make a mystery call. Link up to a classroom from another region and have your students try to figure out where this mystery call is from. While you're doing this, it's good to assign each student a different specific job to keep the students engaged in the virtual classroom. Different ways to communicate with Skype in a K-12 setting. Parent-teacher conferences is a big one. This is a good way to save gas, time, and energy to hold meetings with parents. Meet up with librarians or other faculty and staff. Meet with the advisors. You can record a podcast, record video. You can provide tutorial or office hours. This is a good way to have maybe an after-school tutoring program on a virtual classroom. And this is a good way to teach digital literacy. Make Skype the classroom. The growth in online classes means Skype itself works as a platform to conduct lessons and share presentations, provide tutoring support, and many more that I've talked about in this presentation already. This is a good way to reduce absences. You can also use this as a presentation tool. It's a good way to meet special education needs. Skype allows the special education classroom to incorporate students of all ages and abilities into the conversation. You can form study groups in and outside of the classroom, and this is a good way also to meet exchange students early. If you have an exchange student from somewhere else, maybe you can meet them on a virtual classroom before to get to know them.
In our math program, we don't use a textbook. We're a math their way school. So each week we have a problem of the week. The way we do it, we include parents. So we'll Skype with parents. So we're using technology. I'll write the problem so that the parent knows it's something that is relevant for their skill level and the math concepts that we're working on. And the parent will Skype in on the Monday, and it just takes us a few minutes, and then the students will work on the math problem together with their math partners. So what I've tried to do is pair some of the students that have more sophisticated math skills with some students that might need a little encouragement or that might need some help. Students use, they get to choose what strategy they want to use. One of the things we always tell them that drawing a picture is always a good choice. But if they have manipulatives available, they can. So some of them will use, they'll use cubes, they'll use circles, little counters, they'll use marbles, they use links. And then we come together and we share. We use the document camera and they explain how they do that. And then on Tuesday, we will Skype the parent back and give them the answer and have a couple kiddos explain how we do that, how they figured it out. And these kids come up with all kinds of different ways, and they have exceeded my expectations back in November of what I thought they'd be doing in May.
Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want.